Thank you for joining us today for the Central Washington University State of the University presentation for the 2020-2021 academic year. Because of safety requirements, we have foregone our tradition of meeting together in person this year. I think I speak for everyone when I say no one could have imagined how much our lives will change in the past year. COVID-19 has impacted just about every aspect of higher education across the country. Speaking as a member of the faculty, I am proud of how well my colleagues learned new modalities and teaching methods practically overnight in order to continue our mission of educating our students. But in addition to forcing many of us to learn how to teach remotely and our students to have to learn in new ways, the virus has had a serious impact on the university's enrollment and finances. Recently, we received the 10th day enrollment figures and saw a 5% decline in enrollment. The drop was consistent with our predictions, but represented a loss of $9 million in our budget, which is on top of a directive from the state to cut 15% of state funding, or $19.9 million over the next 2 years. As a result, President James L. Gaudino was forced to place a freeze on all but the most essential hiring, eliminate all travel and equipment purchases, and after instituting furloughs and workforce reductions in the summer months, lay off 56 with the possibility of additional layoffs next year. The good news, however, is we received a record 12,000 first-year student applications for this year, which was a 24% increase over the previous year. Our retention rates for continuing students were also strong. Clearly, our university remains a top choice for students who value our commitment to providing a welcoming environment and a rigorous academic climate. Without a doubt, COVID-19 has affected our institution, and all of us have been pushed in ways we never could have anticipated. But from those challenges, we have grown. As academics, we have learned again how best to teach. Our students have learned, again, how best to study and to gain knowledge. It has not been easy, nor will it be in the future, but it has been necessary. And it illustrates the incredible resilience of the CWU community. Change, in other words, doesn't have to be something to fear, but rather it can be something that elevates us and moves us forward. We are in fact about to experience a fairly significant change with the announcement that President James L. Gaudino will be stepping down next July. The process of finding the next president of Central Washington University began several months ago with a series of listening sessions by a select committee appointed by the Board of Trustees. The committee conducted more than 24 of these sessions with various constituency groups, including students, faculty, alumni, staff, and the community. The purpose was to find out what qualities the next president will need to have to succeed. From those sessions, the Board of Trustees developed a position description and began a nationwide search for a new president. At the last trustees meeting, the search consultant assisting the trustees described the pool of potential candidates as a large and diverse pool. This month, the search committee will begin interviewing semi-finalists for the position, with the goal of recommending a handful of finalists to the trustees, who will begin interviewing them in November. The arrival of a new president, the 15th in CWU's history, will be about more than the obvious change in a name on a door. That person will be tasked with being an effective advocate for the university, developing a close working relationship with the other presidents to protect higher education funding, and to take full advantage of the immense pride and passion alumni have for Central. That person must be willing to continue CWU's commitment to diversity and inclusion among faculty and staff, be comfortable engaging with students, faculty, staff, and the community, and understand the value of experiential learning, which is the cornerstone of our teaching philosophy, and of creating pathways from college to a career. There is special significance to today's State of the University. This presentation will mark the final one by President Gaudino. President Gaudino arrived here almost 12 years ago from Kent State University, where he had been the founding dean of the College of Communication. He arrived at a time when technology, specifically the internet, was changing the communication paradigms, as he called it, and colleges needed to be preparing for a generation of digitally savvy students and the rise of social media networks. He could not have been more on the nose with his prediction. In an interview he gave shortly after arriving, President Gaudino said he viewed his relationship with CWU like that between Native Americans and the earth. He wanted to build it in a sustainable fashion, leaving it better for those who follow. As we look around the campus today, we can see that President Gaudino has definitely made his mark. During his almost 12-year tenure, CWU has seen more than $360 million invested in new construction, from Bartow and Dugmore Residence Halls to Discovery Hall, Samuelson Hall, and the soon-to-be completed Health Sciences Building. The footprint of the university has been changed forever. However, I think the most important thing President Gaudino has accomplished in his time here has been to instill in our campus community a sense of pride in being at Central, being a Wildcat, and a sense of hope for the future. Throughout his presidency, he has exhibited an almost unflagging optimism about the university and about where CWU should and will go. When the regional accreditation team noted that Central is an excellent university on the cusp of greatness, he made that his rallying cry. He told us, "Don't settle for what you've got, strive for something better," and we have followed. Now, let us join President James Gaudino for his last State of the University address at Central Washington University.
Thank you, Dr. Delgado, for that kind introduction. I would also like to thank all of you who are watching for taking the time. I know your schedules are very full. This is obviously not a conventional State of the University address. You've probably already noticed that I did not shake hands with Elvin as we passed one another on the stage. That's because we each recorded our messages in a studio at different times. In fact, I am standing in front of a green screen, and the video crew I am looking at is wearing masks and practicing social distancing. You're probably watching this from your home. Like so much of this fall quarter, this feels very unnatural. And like you, I miss the face-to-face interactions that used to fill my days on campus. Seeing you and talking with you was the reward for giving this address. We are a university that prizes proximity. We build our buildings into neighborhoods, and we construct them to be walkable. Our teaching style is personalized and immediate. Most of us live in spaces that offer frequent interaction with students and coworkers. This quarter doesn't feel normal because it's not. Planning for this academic quarter began immediately following the decision to close the residence halls and to pivot to virtual systems last spring. We formed a planning group comprised of experts from across the university, and they worked nonstop to get us ready. They are now engaged in planning for our winter quarter. This team has done outstanding work, and I thank them for their time and their expertise. And as my confidence in the team and the plan grew, I was able to turn my attention to implementation. We had so much to accomplish in so little time. Our facility staff had to rearrange our classrooms. Our communication experts designed and produced signage. Procurement sought contracts for personal protective equipment. Health staff established testing protocols. We set residence hall occupancy at about half, and we created alternatives to traditional student activities. And the list continues for pages. A critical task was to adjust our courses, our teaching methods, and technologies to accommodate a primarily online class schedule. And over the summer, about 250 faculty trained with our multimodal learning team. They were added to about 280 faculty who had already completed the Master of Online Teaching Institute program. This work was necessary but it was not desirable. No one wanted to make the changes forced by the pandemic, yet you did it, and you did it exceptionally well. And even as I thank you for the work you did over the summer and are doing this quarter, I cannot shake one question that continues to worry me. Can a university that values interaction and that attracts more than 11,000 students behave in ways that suppress the rate of COVID-19 infection? To date, the answer appears to be that it can, that you are. Most of you are wearing your masks, maintaining appropriate physical distancing, but some are not, especially off campus and at gatherings. Those who are not adhering to these common sense behaviors are posing significant danger to our collective health and to our ability to continue planned operations. I continue to worry about this basic question because physical distancing is not what we do at Central. I also know that for many of us, there is a very human tendency to downplay risk over time. And as our positive behaviors combine to lower our rate of infection, we might also begin to relax our guard. We cannot grow complacent. The virus is still out there, and it still poses a significant risk to our health. Acting as a community is the best tool we have for curbing COVID-19 infections. So please, maintain your distances. Work and study from home if possible. Mask up. Wash your hands. Monitor how you are feeling. Keep a close eye on friends and family, and do not attend large gatherings of any kind. And mask up. For the past several years, I have reported that by all measures, our state of the university is excellent. I have applauded the hard work of our faculty, staff, and administrators, and our alumni, and I thank you all for your commitment to our students. I also told you that Central is on the cusp of greatness, and even in the face of our current challenges, I firmly believe that to be true. And I've gone on to challenge you to take the next step from excellence to greatness. And while not minimizing the difficulties presented by the pandemic and the economic stressors we face, I know that Central can continue to grow and to improve. The unflagging optimism Dr. Delgado attributed to me derives from my confidence in you and your commitment to our mission and our core values. Your commitment produces excellent learning experiences for our students, irrespective of their location, their background, or their ability to pay. Your success in meeting critical goals places us in a very select group of universities, and we grow better each and every year. I see examples of greatness across the university, in Ellensburg and at our learning centers. It is evident, for example, in the career of Professor Bobby Cummings. Dr. Cummings is a forceful and effective advocate for others, often at her own personal and professional expense. She cares deeply about her colleagues, her students, and she has a passionate commitment to inclusivity, multiculturalism, and diversity. Her accomplishments and honors are many, but I would like to add one to the list. Today, I recognize Professor Bobby Cummings with the Lifetime Achievement in Diversity Award. It is an award created primarily to recognize her, but I also hope that others will seek this recognition. So it is my pleasure to announce that this award will be named in her honor.
Whoa.
Dr. Cummings, I speak on behalf of the many people you have inspired, supported, taught, and mentored when I say thank you and congratulations.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Oh, I'm just so happy to receive this because it validates all the service, all of the social justice work I've done on this campus for over 25 years. I've dedicated my life to being a person who is a part of the greater good, who sees the best in all human beings, and who fights for their dignity and worth to be recognized in this universe.
I also offer my congratulations to Professor Brandy Weigers on earning the 2020 Henry L. Alder Award for Distinguished Teaching from the Mathematical Association of America, and to Professor Jody Musser, who earned the 2020 Washington State Family and Consumer Sciences Teacher Educator of the Year. Both are truly at the top of their respective fields and illustrate Central's commitment to greatness in the classroom. Central provides a learning environment that is second to none. Our faculty and our staff work together to empower students, many of whom might not otherwise have the opportunity to achieve an enlightened, productive, and responsible life. Our graduates are the best measure of our greatness. Recently, Central began a tradition of awarding honorary doctorates to alumni and friends who have demonstrated distinction in their professional and their personal lives. The alumni receiving the honor this year include former Deputy Secretary, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Ron Sims, and former United States Secretary of Defense, James Mattis. We can see the same potential in younger Wildcat alumni. One of the most rewarding aspects of my job is getting to know individuals like Edith Rojas, who graduated 2 years ago with a degree in digital journalism and minors in business and advertising. Edith is now a communications and marketing coordinator at the Lake Washington Institute of Technology. Like many who attend Central, Edith was a first-generation college student who said that coming to Central changed her life. Edith fully embraced the Wildcat experience. In addition to graduating with a major and 2 minors, Edith hosted a radio program, served as the CWU President, and worked as a marketing intern for the CWU Auxiliary Enterprises. Looking back at her experience, she says, and I quote, "I never felt like I didn't belong at Central. I love CWU," end quote.
On behalf of all students, I'd like to say that it is an honor to be a Wildcat, and now it is also...
Edith would say that her sense of belonging was a critical factor in her achievements here. And I was able to watch her transfer her sense of belonging to others, and thereby follow the pathway set by Professor Cummings. In doing so, she facilitated the success of many other students. She even talked me into a juggling contest in the Cirque pit. A sense of belonging derived from engagement is the primary reason we are on the path to reach our goal of increasing our freshman to sophomore retention rate to 80%. Last year, our persistent rates increased from 71 to 73%, suggesting that we are clearly on the path to 80%. This year, despite the impact of the pandemic, Central enrolled the largest sophomore class in the past 10 years. We have established the tools needed to reach the 80% mark. I believe it is time that we set an even more aggressive goal, an 85% retention rate over the next 10 years. A key to reaching that milestone will be the expanded use of data analytics to anticipate when a student needs help, and then to direct them to the appropriate assistance as quickly as possible. We have been creating and expanding this capacity over the past 5 years. But it will be equally important to not objectify student achievement into the numbers or to the trend lines. Doing so would mask the very reason this goal is so crucial. Persistence is a behavioral concept based on the needs of individuals. No trend line can capture those realities. We always focus on the individual student. We have seen what belonging meant for Edith. Jasmine Washington is another person with a different background and set of challenges.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Washington and I'm your student body president at Central Washington University.
Jasmine was a first-generation student who was born and raised in New Orleans. She and her family relocated to Western Washington when she was just 9 years old, and after losing everything during Hurricane Katrina. Her family arrived with only a few $100s and was home insecure for several years. She coped with these challenges because of the love and support of her parents. She wrote and published a book about her experiences, which was featured on the program Reading Rainbow. And it was republished this year for the 15th anniversary of Katrina. Jasmine found that getting into college and staying in college were two different things. Following her first year, her lack of financial resources made her consider dropping out. That is when she showed the courage and the initiative to approach me and ask for help. Her drive and her talents were evident, just so as they are for so many of our students. I was able to guide her to those on campus who could help her find the resources that would enable her to continue her education at Central. She also faced personal and academic challenges that threatened to overwhelm her. This time, she did not reach out to me for the assistance, but fortunately, her struggles were noticed by one of her mentors, Dr. Shantae Elbert. Dr. Elbert reached out to Jasmine, and Shantae told her that she is more than the sum of her circumstances. She told Jasmine that she has a purpose attached to her name, and she needed to see herself in ways that others see her. Jasmine took those words into her heart, and she decided not to drop out of school, which is what she had been planning to do later that very week. Last year, Jasmine finished her degree in public health while also serving as president of our Association of Students. Today, Jasmine is a graduate student in Tulane University School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. I will let Jasmine's words tell her story about her time at Central.
Why here? I didn't understand why here. There's other universities. I told myself there's plenty other universities, but this university was different. This university was for me. Wow, Central has given me so many opportunities. I think what's so beautiful is that Central allows for us to have a voice. The professors, the mentors, the administrators, it's more than just an education when you come here.
I relate to Jasmine's story because it underscores a key reality of Central's greatness. You all change lives. No matter what role you play at Central, you are all part of the village that Jasmine speaks of so fondly. The challenge is to identify those students who, like Edith and like Jasmine, need a little help to complete their journeys. I believe the responsibility rests with us because not all students will have the courage to reach out like they did. Taking a proactive role in identifying when a student needs help is one reason I set the goal of increasing the diversity of our faculty and staff by 5% in the next 5 years. We know that diversity enriches the educational experience provided by students with an opportunity to learn from people with different backgrounds and life experiences. For many students, Central offers the first opportunity for them to examine preconceived notions about others. Students that challenge their stereotypes show significant gains in their cognitive skills, such as critical thinking and problem solving. Research indicates that students interacting diverse group of peers learn to communicate more effectively than they previously did. It is also critical to their own success. This year, about 40% of our students identify as a racial or ethnic minority.
Welcome to Central!
These students want and need to see reflections of themselves in our faculty, our staff, and our administrators. Doing so will enhance their sense of belonging and their self-efficacy. Jasmine's graduation was made possible by a conversation she had with Dr. Elbert, a person who shares many of her demographic traits and personal aspirations. I have no doubt that these similarities facilitated Jasmine's willingness to listen to Shantae, and that Shantae could speak to her with credibility rooted in experience. We will achieve a collective greatness only when we can provide every student with the range of opportunities necessary to make them successful. And that will necessitate our continued drive to diversify our faculty and our staff. We are making progress in this area. Insight into Diversity magazine again recognized Central with the prestigious Higher Education Excellence in Diversity Award. It is the 6th time in the past 7 years that they have honored Central for this commitment to broadening diversity and inclusion on our campus. Under the leadership of Dr. Dolores Cleary, our Vice President for Inclusivity and Diversity, and Stacy Schley-Lehman, our Director of Human Resources, we have adopted policies requiring that employees of color be on all search committees. We are also reviewing the demographics of application pools. To aid in the retainment of those we hire, We have also developed mentor programs to support employees of color and to provide a support network to aid them in their career trajectories. Evidence suggests that your efforts are working. Geology was one of the first academic departments to use a diversity advocate in their searches. As a result, the candidate pools increased in diversity throughout the search process. The department was able to hire a person from a traditionally underrepresented group, and other departments have also had similar positive results, often with the support of Dr. Cleary. Overall, we have already increased our diversity by about 1.5%, suggesting again that we are on target to reach our 5-year goal. Our third challenge was to enhance our sustainability efforts. Our first step was to hire Dr. Kathleen Klanicki as our sustainability coordinator. She wasted no time in developing a comprehensive sustainability plan that includes benchmarks and goals. As a result, we have expanded the Wildcat Neighborhood Farm, which provides fresh organic produce to our dining services. And in March, the farm added honeybees to help pollinate crops. Soon, you may be able to taste Wildcat Farm's honey. Dining services also introduced compostable, no-tree products to campus and reusable plates and silverware in the home's dining room. Wildcat Printing replaced its use of white copy paper with a product made from sugarcane, a carbon-neutral and sustainable crop. In February, the Ellensburg campus received recognition as Tree Campus USA, presented by the Arbor Day Foundation. The designation acknowledges the university's efforts to manage campus trees and to develop community connections. We formed a CWU Council on Investor Responsibility to make recommendations on socially and environmentally responsible investment opportunities. And the first cohorts of students graduated with a sustainability certificate in spring 2020. I could continue with our achievements, but I want to spend a moment discussing an important fourth goal for this year, and that is to help welcome 2 new senior leaders to our university. One is actually already here. Of course, I'm speaking of our provost, Dr. Michelle Dinbesti. She is making a significant and positive impact on our university despite having been here for only a few months. The arrival of Dr. Dinbesti also underscores the difficulty of managing transition of leadership during a pandemic. The pandemic actually accelerated the provost's learning curve while removing the usual methods of achieving it. Undaunted, she dived enthusiastically into every challenge and situation and has been instrumental in meeting those challenges. She is doing an excellent job, and already it feels like she's been around for years. As we continue to welcome Michelle, we will need to attend to another significant and exciting leadership change when we welcome our next president. And that could be as early as sometime in the winter quarter, but certainly by the end of this academic year. An element of that transition should be to continue the drive to greatness. We must show Michelle and the new president that we are the best in the West. We are not yet satisfied. We want to do better tomorrow than we did today. That drive to greatness has made my time at Central the most rewarding of my career. I have had the pleasure of meeting thousands of students and learning their individual stories. I have had the honor of working with our faculty, staff, and administrators. We have worked and grown together. We faced and overcame significant challenges, often turning them into opportunities. We then set out to build upon our successes. If I have learned anything in the past decade, it is that the Central family is proud, strong, resilient, resourceful, and innovative. It is a rare gift to be able to work with colleagues who share a common purpose. Central is such a place, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve as your president. In the coming months, I will continue to work with you to face the challenges and opportunities presented to us. I will continue to ask the central question: how can we do it better? Thank you for your attention, and go Cats!
My time at Central really prepared me for this job. The professors there took the time to mentor undergraduates, which doesn't happen at a lot of universities, so that one-on-one time really did prepare me for graduate school and for the workforce.
This is Central Washington University's Light It Blue to recognize our local and national healthcare workers that are doing such wonderful work.
From the staff and faculty to the curriculum that's offered, our equity orgs, the diversity in our student body, it's been my experiences and the lessons I've learned from each of these individuals that really got me ready for my future.
Central has provided me such a welcoming and inclusive environment since the first day I stepped onto campus. Through various student organizations like the Equity and Service Council organizations, I have been able to make Central my home away from home.
Yeah, well done, well done, well done.